I visited India. I was there for 6 weeks. I was located in Delhi for 4 of those, and I went to Mumbai for my business placement.
Oh, that's incredible. Was that your first trip to India? Have you been there before?
Yeah, I'd never been there before. I've always wanted to go. And, Mumbai is definitely one of the most sort of vibrant cities, and I've always wanted to visit there. So it was sort of like perfect opportunity. It was like the perfect end to my gap year.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So what were your impressions about Delhi and Bombay? And what did you bring back from there?
I had a lot of preconceptions before I went because, you think of India as being a sort of developing country, and when you get there you realise it's really not.
Right.
It's so vibrant and it's just so colourful, and the people, it's just so diverse.
Yeah.
You think, you don't quite realise just what touristy place it is.
Yeah.
You meet people from all over the world, you experience such different, culture. Even when I was in Delhi, South Delhi for the first 2 weeks, and then I moved to North Delhi. It was like being in a completely different city because the differences between the two regions was immense, and it was so good to capture those.
Yeah, and I can imagine. I mean, coming from India, I can totally relate to what you're saying. And you didn't only get to experience the life in the country firsthand, but you got to experience what education is in a developing country as well. What struck you the most about the education in India?
I think it was quite good to see just how motivated they were, and everyone they're so goal orientated. They know what they want to do, and it was refreshing change to see, go from this country where everyone's a bit confused, you're not sure, there's so many options for you. You can go to university, alternative courses, or go straight into employment, and it was good to go to India and see just, they put so much emphasis on education, and I think we have lost that a little bit in this country, but that's what was their motivation, their drive, for parents for their children, students for themselves, and to experience that firsthand within a school, like having just finished school myself as well. It was so good to see that.
So I'm sure you think that the kids and the parents in India are very aspirational. They're big dreams and hopes. How did that come across in the way they interacted with you, or in the way they just are?
I think it's just sort of built into them. It's in every part of their lives. I mean, they don't quite see anything else but education as the way forward, and that's a very positive attitude.
That is true.
I mean, the parents do push their children as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Some may think it's pressurising children, but sometimes children are young, they do need a bit of pressure, they need a bit of motivation, and I think the parents do that so well over there. And it was good to see that, and it's just so motivational for me as well, just to see how children across the world are studying so hard.
And that's brilliant to see when you have parents taking keen interest in their talent and sort of motivating them in the right way. So keeping all this in mind, what will we have to do, we as people in Britain have to do to compete with this new growing intellectual talent force?
I think one of the things that a lot of people underestimate is sort of the minds, the clever minds, and the intellect that is breeding in India. I think we take that for granted a lot, and I think we sort of need to wake up and just realise that there's competition all over the world, and some may see it as a threat, but I think it's far from a threat. It's kind of exciting to see just how people, students, people all across the world are working up to the challenge, and I think we need to realise that as well. We're not one of the powerful entities that we may think we are, and it's good to have competition. It breeds success, so I mean we should embrace it.
That is true, and it's quite a realisation when you see this developing country doing so well in respect to what the other countries of the world are. And you not only got a taste of the education, but you also got a taste of the working life in India when you were placed with a big company. Who were you placed with?
I was placed with Ernst and Young in Mumbai.
That's great.
And I knew quite a lot about them anyway from this country. They're one of the big 4 companies, and I did some research. And I had a lot of preconceptions about business when I went out there. Everyone thinks of them as these, horrible companies that are just out to take over the world and everything. And when you get out there and you're working from within the company, you realise just sort of the people working for them are normal working people. They're just there to do a job, and they work so hard. I mean, their work ethics in India varied somewhat from England, but at the end of the day, you all have the same goals, same aims are the same.
That's true.
And it's again, you see how motivated they are
and
just how determined they are, and it was really inspirational to see. And I think because I had never worked in such a big company before as well, it was such a learning curve for me, and I learned so much from it that I can take back with me, even if it may not be relevant in my working life. It's definitely important in my everyday life.
That is true. So because of all these amazing experiences that you've had, how do you see your future shaping up to be differently as opposed to what you might have thought before you went?
I think I was definitely in the dark before I went to India. It opened my eyes up just to how much the world is changing around me, and I was so unaware of that. And it makes me really excited to be a part of it and to have seen that. And I think this is definitely the right age where you need to experience life.
Absolutely.
And you need to experience, other cultures and things.
Yes.
And it helps you sort of shape your life, and it helps you be a more sort of rounded person so that you can make a difference in the future.